He was the invisible boy nobody noticed, including me. Years later, the first person waiting inside my job interview wasn't the recruiter. It was the boy I once rejected. People always say success is the best revenge. I used to think that was just something people posted online after a breakup. Then I accidentally walked into the office of the boy I rejected in high school and realized they were right. Back in high school, Isaac Lowell wasn't popular. He wasn't athletic. He wasn't funny. Honestly, most people forgot he even existed. I wasn't mean to him. I just barely noticed him. Looking back now, sometimes being invisible hurts even more than being bullied. Senior year changed everything. Isaac actually asked me out. It completely caught me off guard. I turned him down. Not because he was a bad person. I simply couldn't imagine dating someone I barely knew. At least, that's what I convinced myself. He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He simply smiled and wished me a wonderful future. At the time, I thought that was the end of our story. Life had other plans. 5 years after graduation, my career completely fell apart. One company closed, another downsized, and suddenly, I was unemployed. If you've ever watched life humble somebody in record time, you're watching mine. And before my next disaster shows up, go ahead and like this video and subscribe, because trust me, things are about to get unbelievably awkward. After nearly 40 applications, one company finally invited me for an interview. Lowell Global Holdings. The name sounded strangely familiar. I couldn't remember why. Maybe I'd seen it on the news. Maybe somewhere online. Either way, I wasn't about to question good luck. The company's headquarters looked more like a luxury hotel than an office building. I spent 3 full minutes convincing myself not to turn around. I walked inside pretending I belonged there. Inside, my confidence immediately filed for bankruptcy. Then, something incredibly embarrassing happened. I walked straight into a decorative fountain. Apparently, confidence doesn't improve your eyesight. The security guard tried so hard not to laugh. He almost deserved an award. Honestly, I would have laughed too. I somehow survived check-in, barely. My shoes, however, never recovered. While waiting, I noticed a giant magazine cover on the wall. One face instantly stole my attention. CEO under 30, youngest billionaire investor, Isaac Lowell. Wait, Isaac Lowell? No, that couldn't possibly be him. The quiet kid from high school? The one nobody noticed? Absolutely impossible. Unless people really could change that much. Because the man on that cover looked nothing like the shy teenager I remembered, my interview was called. I took one deep breath, smoothed my blazer, and stepped inside. The room was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows, luxury furniture. One chair turned away from me, facing the skyline. The chair slowly turned. The man standing before me looked confident, powerful, completely out of my league. But those familiar eyes, they belonged to the quiet boy I rejected years ago. Isaac Lowell never forgot me. And somehow, I had a feeling this interview wasn't going to be about my resume anymore. The strangest part wasn't seeing Isaac again. It was realizing he wasn't surprised to see me, almost like he'd expected this day for years. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He simply studied me with the same quiet eyes I remembered. Only now, they carried confidence instead of uncertainty. I suddenly became painfully aware of everything. My wet shoes, my slightly wrinkled blazer. Even my hair suddenly felt unemployed. I had imagined hundreds of interview scenarios. None of them involved facing the one man from my past I never expected to meet again. Then I noticed something unexpected. On a shelf behind him sat an old graduation photo. Our graduation photo. He actually kept it. That tiny picture somehow made me even more nervous. Successful people collect trophies. Why was he keeping high school memories? The interview itself was surprisingly normal, almost too normal, which somehow felt even scarier. Every question focused on my experience, my skills, my goals. Not once did high school come up. And somehow, that disappointed me. Maybe he really had forgotten. Maybe I had built this entire reunion into something much bigger inside my own head. Then, just as I started relaxing, I reached for my coffee. The cup slipped. Of course it did. Coffee exploded across the polished desk. If embarrassment paid rent, I'd own a mansion by now. I wanted the floor to swallow me. Instead, it just reflected my humiliation in expensive marble. To my surprise, Isaac actually laughed. Not loudly, just enough to remind me he was still human. That laugh instantly transported me back to high school. I realized something. His smile hadn't changed at all. Only the suit had. By the end of the interview, I honestly had no idea whether I impressed him or completely destroyed my chances. I thanked him in my head, mostly for pretending I hadn't committed 3 different career-ending levels of embarrassment. The elevator ride down felt longer than the interview itself. Every awkward moment replayed in my mind, especially the fountain. Definitely the fountain. By the time I reached the lobby, I had already convinced myself I wasn't getting the job. Honestly, I wouldn't have hired me either. Then my phone vibrated. One new email. My heartbeat nearly filed a complaint against me. I had been offered the position, starting Monday. I reread the email 5 times, just to make sure it wasn't addressed to someone else. I should have been celebrating. Instead, one question kept bothering me. Why had Isaac hired me? Surely there were candidates far more qualified. Monday arrived much faster than I wanted. I walked into Lowell Global Holdings as its newest employee, completely unaware that my first assignment would require working directly under Billionaire CEO Isaac Lowell himself. And somehow, I had a feeling this was only the beginning of the trouble. Walking into Lowell Global Holdings as an employee felt completely different from walking in as an applicant. This time, I wasn't terrified of the building. I was terrified of my boss. Everyone around me seemed perfectly calm. Meanwhile, my heartbeat had decided today was the perfect day to audition for a drum solo. During orientation, I learned something that explained the company's incredible reputation. Isaac personally funded scholarships for students who couldn't afford college. The quiet boy everyone overlooked had become someone who refused to overlook anyone else. For the first time, I wondered if I'd ever really known him at all. Maybe I'd only known the version the world chose to ignore. By lunchtime, I had already made one new friend. Her name was Brooke. She possessed 2 extraordinary talents: finding office gossip and finding free snacks. Brooke somehow knew everyone's business. She even knew which vending machine secretly gave out 2 candy bars instead of 1. Now that was valuable corporate knowledge. Then, Brooke casually mentioned something that nearly made me choke on my sandwich. Apparently, Isaac almost never hired people personally, which meant, for some reason, he had personally chosen me. That thought followed me for the rest of the afternoon. Just before I clocked out, an email appeared. The sender made my stomach flip. Isaac Lowell. My first ridiculous thought wasn't about work. It was whether replying too quickly would seem desperate. Somehow. Adult life wasn't much different from high school. The email wasn't complicated. I was being assigned directly to the executive strategy team, which meant I'd be seeing Isaac almost every single day. As I packed my bag to leave, I looked toward the executive floor. For years, I believed rejecting Isaac had been nothing more than a forgotten high school memory. Standing there now, I wasn't so sure anymore. Working with Isaac every day wasn't what I expected. He never treated me differently from anyone else. If anything, he expected more from me. At first, I thought he was being unusually strict. Then I noticed something. He held himself to an even higher standard than everyone else. The more I learned about him, the more embarrassed I became. I had spent years remembering the shy teenager. The rest of the world had gotten to know the remarkable man. One evening, everyone else had already gone home. I was still trying to fix a report I'd accidentally overcomplicated. Some habits never change. When I finally looked up, I realized I wasn't the only person still working. Isaac's office light was still on. For someone who had everything, he certainly never stopped earning it. That was the moment something quietly changed inside me. I stopped seeing the billionaire everyone admired. I started seeing the kind, determined boy who had simply refused to give up on himself. Funny enough, The more comfortable we became around each other, the less awkward everything felt. Even my shoes managed to stay out of fountains. Progress. Looking back, life didn't reward me by giving me an easy path. It rewarded me by giving me a second chance to truly know someone I had once overlooked. Sometimes, the biggest opportunities arrive disguised as our greatest regrets. And sometimes, the story you think is over is really the one that teaches you who you've become. If you're still with us, take a second to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. A few weeks later, our team celebrated landing the biggest contract in company history. Watching everyone laugh together, I realized I finally felt like I belonged. As the celebration came to an end, Isaac walked over and simply offered me a quiet smile. This time, I smiled back without hesitation. Some people come into our lives too early. Others arrive exactly when we're finally ready to appreciate them. I once thought rejecting the quiet boy in high school would become one of my life's biggest mistakes. Instead, it became the beginning of a journey that taught me not to judge people by where they start, but by the character they build along the way. The billionaire everyone admired wasn't defined by his wealth. He was defined by his kindness, his perseverance, and the quiet strength I'd failed to see years ago. And as for me, I finally learned that sometimes life gives you exactly one chance to see someone with new eyes. I'm grateful I didn't waste mine.